Aloha, everyone, and welcome to episode 34, season 2 of my winter long stay on Oahu, December 12th, 2025. My name is Beach Monkey. I'm a photographer, surfer, and traveler. During my stay, I want to show you the spots I surfed, the places I ate, and the activities I did so when you come to Oahu, you can plan your own ideal itinerary. Please don't forget to smash those like and subscribe buttons. On this episode, a morning surf session at Rock Piles, going to the Makapu'u Tidal pools, and an evening surf session at Canoes. In the morning, I decided to go to a place called Rock Piles. Rock Piles is a great place to surf. It's in Ala Moana. Ala Moana area is, if you're facing ocean, is to the right of Waikiki. The area is known for some pretty good waves. It's good for longboarders and shortboarders. If you look straight out ahead where the waves are kind of breaking, that's where kind of Rock Piles is. To the left is Kaisers. To the right is Ala Moana Bowls. Does have a very shallow reef. Now, it's mostly lefts. If you go right in the wrong spot, it goes to a super shallow reef, which you don't want to do. And that's what I did my first wave. I took off on because I was like, wow, no one's going right. I took off on it and I'm like, oh crap, look at the reef. So I jumped off because I thought I was going to snap my fin off. But it's a great place to surf. It's about maybe 5 to 8 minute paddle out. You basically paddle out right next to this rock groin and paddle out straight ahead. And you slowly make your way kind of to the right. Like I said, Bowls is further to the right. There's some other spots in there as well too. But the one thing you got to watch out for, like I said before, it is shallow. So when you fall off your board, if you fall off your board, just do a belly flop. What I usually do, starfish. There's a lot of sea urchins. The reef can be sharp, but the water's usually pretty crystal clear. It's just a fun break. And as you'll see here shortly, you'll see what the waves look like. It was about maybe, I think it was 2 to 3 that day, but it was super fun. The Makapu'u Tidal Pools Trail leads down to the Makapu'u Tidal Pools. It's not an official trail. You won't find it on all trails. Enter at your own risk. Let me repeat that again. Enter at your own risk. It can be dangerous down there. You can slip and fall down the cliff. When you get down to the tidal pools, there could be rogue waves that could wash you off. It is dangerous, so enter at your own risk. I repeat that again. You want to make sure also as well too that you wear good hiking shoes, bring lots of water, wear sunblock. It's in the full sun. The first part you kind of hike downwards, as you kind of see there. There are little white arrows you kind of follow. It zigzags back and forth. Like I said, it's not an official trail. A lot of people go down there. Just be careful when you're walking down. If you're nervous or scared to walk down there, just don't do it. Just stay up top. It is a pretty steep walk down, but it zigzags back and forth. You just got to keep looking for the white arrows. If you can't find a white arrow, kind of walk back a little bit maybe and look for it. This is where I wear good hiking shoes. I've seen a lot of people do it barefoot and flip-flops. I just don't trust it like that. Also, there's a lot of loose rock. If you see there's a few scramble downs as you go down, but you just got to keep looking for those white arrows. It's a pretty steep drop off all the way down there. As you see there, kind of like hopping down. I'm not the best person for walking down things because I, don't want to slip and fall backwards because there's a lot of loose rock, but it wasn't that hard for me. Also, one thing you want to do is check out what the tide is. Best time to go is at low tide. You would kind of avoid, going at high tide if you can. And also look at the wave forecast. Look and see how big or heavy the waves are. Of course, if it's windy, there's going to be bigger waves. So just kind of not go down if there's big waves down there. When I was down there last time, a couple days before I got down here, the guy was telling me that a rogue wave washed over the whole area and everybody lost their stuff. People kind of washed around and battered around the rocks. Nobody was injured, thank goodness, but that could happen. You see there a second ago, I pointed out the white arrow. And it kind of zigzags to the left, goes back to the right. You see some people down there that, walking back up from the tidal pools. Now, the tidal pools are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Love going down there. It's one of the best things I did on this trip here. But like I said again, enter at your own risk. I kind of wanted to show you the whole trail so you can kind of look and see, hey, is this something I want to do? And how do I get down there? And that's one of the big questions I had was like, where's the trail at? How do I know we get there? And these people are kind of helping me out, pointing which way to go, where the arrows are. I kind of zigzags that way, then zigzags back across the other way. You see how steep that is there. So I kind of wanted to show you this. Now this is at the bottom area where it kind of flattens out, and there you see a lot of like lava rocks and broken things up. And this is also a spot where there's a double blowhole. You'll hear the air rushing in and out of it as the waves come in. So this was a time when the waves weren't that big, so I get a tiny bit closer, but don't get too close to it. Definitely don't put your face over it. Don't try to climb in it because you'll probably drown. But it's pretty impressive. It's a double blowhole. You kind of just wait for a wave. There it goes right there. Kind of for the waves to pop. And it goes underneath the rocks there. And of course, the air forces that thing to kind of blow out. But kind of a cool little feature. I didn't even know was down there. It's a double blowhole. So as you see here, we're approaching the tidal pools. And there's 3 or 4 of them of various depths. I was trying to make my way over to the larger ones. The larger ones are, the water's over your head, but this is my first time seeing the tidal pool. So I was kind of just checking things out, seeing what was what. You can already kind of see a little bit of fish swimming around in there. This is like a more shallow one. And then I had to make my way over to where the deeper ones are. So right here is like the deepest tidal pool. And you see how pretty it is, how the colors and everything. And I got a chance to get inside. And look how just clear that water is. Just amazing. And like I said, be careful when you're swimming around in here. Don't turn your back to the water. Make sure you put your stuff in a safe place. But you immediately see little fish swimming around in there. And then the main part was over my head. I'm 6'3", and it was way over my head. So if I've seen people with videos diving in, I wouldn't recommend that unless you know the area really well. You don't want to smash your face on the rocks. But so many little fish were swimming around in here. It was just amazing. The water was like nice and warm. Everything was just perfect. It was just nice little way to relax in the water after a nice long climb down. Unfortunately, it was time for me to head back. It's so depressing. I just love that spot. It wasn't for the fact that, you have to watch out for rogue waves and, climbing down a cliff. It would be like one of the coolest spots and the coolest things I did on Oahu. But there is a danger to it, like I said. So just make sure you know the wave condition, the tidal conditions, and everything before you decide to head down. But it was spectacular. Seeing the little fish, the water felt great. Now I got to head back up. To me, heading up was a little easier than heading down. I can climb up better than climb down. So I don't know. I just always afraid I'm going to fall, slip out, my feet slip out from underneath me when I'm going down an incline, a decline, I should say. There's those little tidal pools again. Make sure you bring a bag to put your stuff in and make sure, like I said, it's secure. Water shoes are optional. I didn't wear any. So here's the end of the trail. Like I said, it wasn't too bad. I've seen people carry babies down there and wear flip-flops and go barefoot. But just stay at your own level of precaution. If this makes you nervous at all, don't go down. Make sure you check the waves. Make sure you check the tides. Just be careful. Mahalo. Of course, in the evening, I had to do a sunset surf session at Canoes. Just one of my favorite places to surf. So many people out there that I know. It's like a social hour, and you basically surf until you can't see anymore. Canoes is located right in the heart of Waikiki. It got its name Canoes because of all the outrigger canoes that are kind of giving people rides and beaching themselves on the shore. There's also catamarans there. The inner part of the whole break is very gentle. You see people floating around in inner tubes and babies playing in the water. A little further out, you have a smaller break, and that's where the people are getting surf lessons or someone who's never surfed before. That's generally how they try for the first time. The nice thing about the waves here in this area, even if you catch a tiny wave, you can surf it for a pretty long distance. And that's why a lot of people had their first surfing experience here at Canoes. There's two breaks that kind of like that differentiate each other at Canoes. To the far left is a more of a reef break. It's a little faster. To the far right is more of a sand break. It's a more gentle. The reef break, of course, you get done, you end up on, sharp rocks or sea urchins. The sand break, it's a little softer. Both can be going off better than the other, depending on the tide and the swell direction and a bunch of other things. To the far left is a spot called Canoes. To the far right, the next spot down is called Pops. But I kind of paddled out to the sandbar first. I didn't go that far down. The paddle out to the sandbar, you go a little further down. But we just wanted to paddle out here because the sandbar looked really good. Paddle out into the middle. And it's about anywhere from a 3 to an 8 minute paddle out, depending on how good a shape you are, if your paddle strength. That's straight paddling. And that day, I believe, again, it was like 2 to 3 feet. You see how clear the water is. It looks so pretty. And if you see movies where people are surfing in Waikiki, there's a mountain in the background. You see Diamond Head there to the left in the distance. This is the iconic spot they talk about. Winter season, it's smaller. That's when I was there. It generally averaged 1 to 2 feet. Summertime, it averages like maybe 3 to 4 feet, but can get up to, 4 to 7 feet. There's been days which have been huge on the South Shore, and you get these really long rides. The average ride is 30 to 45 seconds, and you can and this is a longboarding spot. There's people that go out on their short boards, but this is primarily a longboarding spot. You'll have your best rides on a longboard. You can take a short board out there, but it's a wave just built for longboarding.
just a chance interaction that turned into cigarettes. Bad for my body, bad for my home. One thing led to another, couldn't leave you alone. When you came around, you brought the streets with you. Traces of perpetual pollution in my living room. Yeah, I forget to breathe sometimes. hurt led to hate, and the space was the end of us. Bad for my body, bad for my home. This bed is still warm, but you're not welcome no more. I forget to breathe sometimes. Whatever did you do to my mind? Whatever did you do to my pride? Your silence is violent, but the dogs won't keep quiet. Get out of my heart, get out of my head, get out of my dreams, get out of my bed, get on with my life, get on with my plans, get on with my future, leave on with no past. It started off innocent, just a chance interaction that turned into cigarettes. Bad for my body, bad for my home. One thing led to another, couldn't leave you alone. When you came around, you brought the streets with you. Traces of perpetual pollution in my